Welcome back. We are here for the semifinals. I am Arnie Wolf. This is Jesus Cornell, and this is Bidoof. I of course got to introduce Bidoof. He's important. He's our mascot. But we've got a really exciting match for you coming up. It's Junxi and Keanu in Inosanto, and here's why it's so exciting. Of the last 4 locals we've had of both MSSs and PCs, they have been won by Junxi and Keanu exclusively. The last 4 tournaments have been won by these 2 players, and they are bringing in some really exciting battles this entire time, and they're gonna now face each other. I'm excited, and we're gonna see Keanu on the left with that Chenpao, Urshifu Rapid, Raging Bolt, Incineroar, Rillaboom, and Landorus Incarnate, while Junxi's got his standard that he's perfected, the Incineroar, Amoonguss, Goldengo, Urshifu Rapid, Porygon 2, and Landorus Incarnate.
Yeah, most likely going to be a balanced match between both these players, although I believe Keanu will have the more aggressive options. It's just, how do you wall break Junxi's team? Because he has so many he has such a bulky mode with Amoonguss, Incineroar, and a Porygon 2, and then his aggro mode with the rest of his team. It's just, will there be a way for Keanu to wall break Junxi's defense?
The one thing that I really do like here, and is useful, but it's very situational, is Raging Bolt Calm Mind. We've seen that. I was talking a lot about it when it was on stream earlier, because it just can sweep if you set it up. But instead, we're going to see Landorus Incineroar lead from Keanu's side, while Junxi going to lead with Amoonguss and Urshifu Rapid Strike. Not bad. Fake out potential on both sides, though.
Yeah,
on both of Junxi, sorry.
No, there's just fake out from Keanu against both these Pokemon.
Yes, but that's why I was sorry about that.
But I don't think fake out's like the worst thing to be happening in this game, because Landorus, I don't think threatens to knock out an Amoonguss should a Rage Powder come in, but I think it's more like Urshifu slots it for something like Junxi's own Incineroar, or maybe even a Goldengo after it happens to be one. It's just, there's a defensive method for practically almost every situation for Junxi. It's just like, is there one here? Can you combat the Earth Power?
I think there's a pretty safe play, though, for Keanu right now, which is to fake out that Urshifu and substitute on Landorus. Amoonguss isn't going to break the substitute, and this Urshifu is not going to be able to do enough damage onto it. And at that point, you could Terra Poison and just have some fun with some Earth Powers.
Ooh, Junxi Terras.
Okay.
What would this be? I think it's Urshifu to water. Yeah, he wants damage.
I think the fake out's going. It's an obvious fake out, though. It's not a bad Terra. It's just an early Terra, and that's always risky. But I really think that Junxi is going to get faked out here. Yeah. And you know, Amoonguss, this Incineroar on Keanu's side has safety goggles, which we know, so there's no Spore.
Yeah, there's a substitute for Keanu, and there you go. Spore is no longer an option, but because you Terra Water, does that mean that Landorus has to Terra Poison? Because, oh, there's some falling puff. Like, he definitely was scouting that, attack, for the very least, from Keanu's Landorus, I would have to assume.
I think right now you switch into probably...
I think you have to Terra with Landorus, because I believe even with Terra Water, 2 hits for Surgery Strike should knock it out.
Yeah, if you are not Terra'd, yeah, I think you got it. You have to Terra the Poison right now. And we know that this Landorus from earlier is a bulky Landorus, so this is definitely...
Where does the Surgery Strike go towards? Oh boy, that's going to bring the sub. Will this be enough to take 2 hits onto this Landorus?
Bye-bye, Lando. I don't think this is really risky. I thought we were going to see Terra Poison and switch of Incineroar into Rillaboom, but no, we're going to go ahead and see
that's how it goes.
This Landorus go down. Ooh, yikes, losing a heavy hitter right off the bat for Keanu. That is an unfortunate play.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Now let's see what this Incineroar does. It could be Parting Shot, it could be Flare Blitz, it might be Knockoff. Flare Blitz is the Amoonguss, you're going to get a good amount of recoil damage. You survive it on the fringes of the red health with the critical hit. That's going to be a lot of recoil damage and Rocky Helmet to boot. That's around half. And Spore comes out.
That's why I like Rocky Helmet on Amoonguss. There's so many good options for Amoonguss with Citrus Berry, but Rocky Helmet does stuff like that, which is just dangerous. That being said, Keanu's not in a horrible spot. You can go ahead and fake out onto the... Honestly, either one. But I like to fake out onto the Urshifu while you knock off the Amoonguss, and then you swap on out into Raging Bolt, leaving Urshifu there to just Surging Strikes into something that resists it. Meanwhile, for Junxi, and you call that, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and actually switching. I would probably go for the attack on the Amoonguss, a Wood Hammer, or is a good option onto it, just in case it switches out, and then go into Raging Bolt, so that way you can just go ahead and click your Thunderclaps and have fun. But I think, yeah, Incineroar needs to swap out, whether it fakes out the Urshifu and then switches out on the next turn, or switches out now while Rillaboom handles the Amoonguss.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's obvious for a double switch, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe a double switch isn't coming for Junxi, because I don't think either of these Pokemon are safe, because Grassy Glide may not KO Rillaboom, Urshifu, but Follow up on Incineroar most definitely will, and yeah, first Earth was switching out.
I assume this is going into Incineroar on this slot.
Okay, there's Incineroar. I also have to assume that either Protect comes out in front of Amoonguss, or we're going to see a swap out. I presume the swap out comes out as the Intimidate. It's going to go ahead and lower the attack of both Incineroar and Rillaboom. Do we see a double switch? Okay, we see Keanu switch to Incineroar.
Okay, so it's going to go into Raging Bolt. That's very valid.
All right, there is the Raging Bolt coming out to play here. Junxi, yeah, it is a double switch.
Question now becomes, I'm assuming this is Landorus. It would only make sense.
It is Landorus coming out from Junxi.
Does a Wood Hammer do that much?
No, we see U-turn come out, so Intimidate averted, and in coming back should be the Incineroar.
I like that. I like that. It's an iffy one. It's a very iffy one. However, because you have push effect on your Raging Bolt, that's quite good. I really like the Raging Bolt here. I mean, I do and I don't. Like, I like it because after a Calm Mind, it's pretty much able to take care of everything except that Landorus. That's the thing. If Keanu can play around this Landorus, make sure it goes down, you're in really good shape. But now it's going to be a battle of the Incineroars and the fake outs. We can see a cross fake out, as I like to call it, which is a fake out of Incineroar hitting the Bolt, and then Keanu's hitting the Landorus. I think that's what we're going to see. But then that's very valuable because you can see which Incineroar is faster, and that could come and play in not only in Game 2, but later in Game 1.
Absolutely, and you're just going to have to, like, who's Incineroar is faster in that scenario, because we didn't really get to see the answer almost immediately, so if Fake Out goes into either of these Incineroar, that could be big for the other attacker, because if Landorus gets to move, then Earth Power is going to be enough to knock him out. I also saw the Keanu walking the Terra Fairy, so at the very least, you don't have to worry about Terra Poison Sludge Bomb, but Sludge Bomb's still Sludge Bomb.
Yeah, Sludge Bomb's going to do a lot of damage. However, you can get your Calm Mind up right away. That's really useful. The only unfortunate thing here is you are now susceptible to taking hits from Incineroar, and that's not great, but that's...
Oh, okay, Keanu's Incineroar is indeed faster.
That's a small price.
And Earth Power comes out into the now Fairy-type Raging Ball, still does almost half damage, even though it's no longer weak to Electric.
That's actually less than I thought, I'm not going to lie. I thought that it would still do... Landorus is one of the highest attackers with that Life Orb, and the fact that this Raging Bolt, which is not Assault Vested, was able to take that with ease is very impressive to me. I really like the leftover style on it too, because now if you can Parting Shot out on the Lando and it becomes mind games on which one do you hit. Do you Earth Power the Incineroar and allow Calm Mind to go up, or do you hit and Sludge Bomb the Raging Bolt, and if predicted incorrectly allows Incineroar on Keanu's side to just Parting Shot out on Landorus and therefore neutralizing it as a threat. I think honestly though, I can't call it. Another option too for Keanu, protect the Raging Bolt, hard switch Incineroar, predicting the Earth Power into that slot, and now you have a free Calm Mind after a fake out is exchanged on the Landorus the turn after. So many different options for Keanu to go for. If you're Junxi, you're just figuring out what's most likely.
Yeah, and here comes the Rillaboom coming in onto this Incineroar slot. Maybe since we got an Earth Power out of the way there, we see Substitute come out from Landorus is trying to do its best to make sure it's not Raging Bolt bait for that Dragon Pulse. But will it be going for that Dragon Pulse still? It's going to be another Calm Mind coming out, so now it comes down to whether or not there's an Incineroar for Parting Shot.
The Calm Mind's really nice because you now resist the Landorus, or a little bit more. I mean, it's still super effective.
Instead of Rillaboom.
That's better. That's much better, I think. The thing is, and this is what's really tough, Landorus behind Substitute cannot get faked out. And now you are going to take a Sludge Bomb, no matter what. You do get a fake out on the left side, but it's going to be really tricky for Keanu to just finish off this Landorus with only the Pokemon he has left.
Okay, we're back to Amoonguss, and it's still not that relatively healthy. It's still Dragon Pulse bait.
But I think we'll review Dragon Pulse. You know what? No. Here's what I think. And this may be a very risky play. But take a look at how much HP this Raging Bolt has recovered. And it is +1 as well. But
+2.
+2? Oh, man, it is nuts. I think you're fine.
Yeah, it is a +2, just so you guys are aware. You got 2 Calm Minds off. It has yet to attack, so Dragon Pulse should be coming out here. We're seeing the Intimidate cycle once again, so we're getting more Regenerator recovery. We are going to see Intimidate into this Rillaboom. Where does the Dragon Pulse go to if there is one?
I personally think the Landorus is a bit better. I don't think it's going to protect this turn, but we'll see. Yeah.
Sludge Bomb goes into this Rillaboom. Will it be enough to knock it? Oh, it won't. It will not be enough to knock it out. It goes back into the Substitute. And, whoa, that was also a critical hit from that Sludge Bomb. We see U-turn go into this Incineroar. So another pivot here from Rillaboom. No fake out. We're going to get the Intimidate Incineroar back in.
You know what's interesting? You get really, knowing that, you realize, oh wow, that Landorus does not do as much damage as I thought. I was shocked at how little it did, honestly. And this Dragon Pulse, if it does connect here, That is, and it does
It's into the Incineroar.
Oh, but that's not the one I was thinking of.
Oh, almost enough for the knockout. We are going to see the Citrus Berry recover about a quarter of Incineroar's health and get it back a little bit more with that grassy terrain.
My goodness. You know what's nice about this, though, is honestly, it becomes another mind game set. This Raging Bolt's basically a Dondozo at this point, but it's also got some weaknesses. Double targeting onto it is going to be really brutal, as well as I think right now, the play is to go ahead and hard switch your Incineroar out and then Earth Power onto Keanu's Incineroar if you're Junxi right now. Just get rid of the Incineroar. If you could just focus on everything but the Raging Bolt, you still have 3 Pokemon in the back, including...
Fake out into the Raging Bolt.
Yeah, that's fine. Just focus on getting rid of the right side on Keanu.
Alright, yeah, there we go. Earth Power goes into this Incineroar. It is enough for the knockout. Junxi's calling back in, so no more Intimidate, no more Fake Out. I mean, you get one more Fake Out for the rest of the game, and... depending on when this grassy terrain goes out, we could be getting a reset, or we could be getting it ending soon as we're getting more HP recovery from Raging Bolt. That fake out damage is basically gone.
Oh my goodness, I'm just looking at the Boom's HP. When you really pay attention to that,
and we are going to get the reset on the grassy terrain, thankfully.
That is nuts. The Calm Mindset is absolutely nuts, and that Rillaboom's just going to really benefit here. I think a fake out onto the left, that was the best turn for it to expire. I think you fake out the... I think you actually, you have to fake out the Incineroar and Dragon Pulse Landers. I don't think there's another play that is just that's going to be safe. You could go for a double target on the Landers, but I predict it's going to protect this turn, so I think it's safer to go ahead and fake out the Incineroar.
If you fake out Incineroar, then you need to get damage onto this Landers or try to knock out the Incineroar, one or the other. I mean, you don't break the substitute on the lander, so it's like, do you have the time to go ahead and knock out Incineroar right now, or do you just do that? Go Grassy Glide into the landers and try to knock it out, try to break the substitute first.
I'm surprised we didn't see Protect. I thought that...
Yeah, the substitute's gone, so that's Dragon Pulse now in the target for that lander. As Sludge Bomb will knock out the Rillaboom, so it is a 1v2 for Keanu Inosanto with this Raging Bolt at +2. We'll get a knockout right now, and if so, who does it take it on? It is going to be the Incineroar.
I'm shocked we did not see a Protect on Landers. I thought that was the obvious play, honestly. I thought that you really want to keep your Lander as substitute up, but you know what? It worked. It worked for Junxi. I think knowing what's in the back.
Oh yeah, isn't there an Amoonguss still in the back for Junxi?
Yeah, that's why I think you're safe.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can just redirect and go for some Sludge Bombs, and then at that point, but here's the thing, Thunderclap exists, and I think actually the better play is to just cycle and play the mind games with the Amoonguss switching out now into the Urshifu and just playing those mind games while letting your Landorus Sludge Bomb the Raging Bolt until it goes away. But the +2 is just going to really help take those hits from Landorus. I think Junxi's in a bit of a tough spot.
That is just depending on how much Dragon Pulse does here. Oh, that's a bad Protect to go into if you're Raging Bolt.
Mind games. It's all mind games.
And what comes out, Sludge Bomb. This is a +2 special defense. It does a decent amount of damage. And now, I mean, maybe 3 more should do it because of the Grassy Terrain and Leftovers recovery combination. And another thing that, yeah, I don't know if protecting is any good anymore for Junxi. I mean, for Keanu.
It's a 50-50 one. I think this turn you target the Amoonguss again. Just, if you can get rid of the Amoonguss, you put yourself in a really good spot. And we don't know how much Dragon Pulse will do at +2, but it's the play that I think you got to make. Yeah, I really like this Calm Mind Raging Bolt set with the leftovers. Thunderclap being your only electric attack is iffy, but man, does Dragon Pulse hit anything not named Fluttermane so hard.
Sludge Bomb comes out, no critical hit. We are going to get it under 50% health now. Dragon Pulse lands onto this Amoonguss at +2. It is enough to knock out the Amoonguss and get down to a Urshifu Landorus versus Raging Bolt combination.
Does the land... Okay. This is interesting, and I'll tell you why. The Aqua Jet is definitely coming out from Urshifu, right? There's no way you have to...
If you Aqua Jet, you Thunderclap.
You can't Thunderclap.
I know, but it's like, does Keanu Thunderclap knowing Aqua Jet's an option?
I wouldn't. I would just go Dragon Pulse. Well, gosh, I don't know, because you have to... It's mind games again. It's mind games. Thunderclap versus Dragon Pulse. But I think it's going to Aqua Jet. I think it's scared of it. Yeah. But I also think that Surging Strikes is a safer play for Junxi, so I don't know.
You really don't know until it happens, so now we're going to see what happens here, because Junxi's also got time to think.
gosh.
We're running out of words, and I don't know if I like that.
It's such a 50-50 call that this is why Pokemon can be so exciting. It's all about reading your opponent. You could have two fantastic teams, which we're seeing with Junxi's team, which he's perfected, and Keanu bringing that Calm Mind.
It is Aquajet. So this is Thunderclap from Keanu. This is not going to work anymore. How much damage is doing? It's doing a fair amount. That might be 2 more Sludge Bombs into your range, or just a 1 HP. So Raging Bull gets to go out to Dragon Pulse, but I think this game's over.
Okay, I'm not gonna call it over yet, because here's the thing: we got the Aquajet did about 30 with the leftovers and grassy terrain.
It's gonna be a 29. It's over. The Aquajet's gonna be able to break through, protect.
I think you got a Dragon Pulse. Just hope Aquajet doesn't do enough, but I think because it's Terra Water, it's enough.
Yeah, Junxi did it turn 1. It's gonna go back to win the game. There it goes, and there's a knockout.
Oh my gosh. Whew. That was one of the most intense matches I've ever seen. And that's just game 1. I told you it was all going to be exciting. Again, these are the 2 champions from the past 4 tournaments, and they are putting on a match that is explosive. So what do you think? Do you think there's any changes for each side?
Honestly, no.
I agree.
Because there shouldn't be any changes coming in here unless you really want that Golden Go against Raging Bolt Terra Fairy, but that might be excessive if you're asking me.
I agree. Especially because you were able to handle it pretty safely, and Golden Go's just asking to get thunderclapped. So it's not necessarily the safe play at the moment. But I agree. I think the 4 that Junxi brought in was really strong. The only thing I could see, I mean, obviously Amoonguss is just there to redirect, but it didn't do that much. So I wouldn't even be surprised to see maybe like. No, I think Amoonguss is still the right play. It's just, it didn't do too much. You gotta use it as a target.
I guess if anything, maybe a lead switches up from either side, but it's like, how does Junxi go away from Amoonguss and Urshifu as the lead? Because Urshifu and Amoonguss really only lose to like very few things, which is specifically Fake Out.
Yeah. I do think you want to save your Amoonguss for a position where you can't get faked out, so that way you can go ahead and spore the Raging Bolt. But what's really nice about Keanu's team for this is you have 2 fake outs, and so you can cycle the fake outs and put it in a spot where you are fine with that. And I really like the double fake out combo this gen. I think it's just really good into this stuff, so we'll see though. I think like into Junxi's team, I mean.
Okay, well, we're going to have to see what comes out here from both of these trainers, and Junxi's now 1 game away from going into the grand finals to set. Once again, it'll be Amoonguss and Urshifu from him. Keanu, on the other hand, going to lead real good Raging Bolt, so a couple options here, but I think the most obvious one might be Rage Powder to make sure you don't get Thunderclap. But that doesn't protect yourself from the Urshifu, from your Rillaboom.
I think you hard switch your Urshifu and Spore Raging Bolt. I think that's the play you really want to go for. You could, if you're Keanu, I would fake out and Calm Mind. I think that's pretty safe, but at that point, you just continuously cycle and intimidate and fake out until your Raging Bolt wakes up. But I think if you're Junxi, you're like, I cannot let this Raging Bolt set up again. I need to stop it, and I'm going to Spore it.
Well, if you do Spore it, it does shut it down, but it's just like, what does Amoonguss do afterwards? It's like, I don't think Polypus is doing so much to Rillaboom, if at all. It just goes get to fake out onto the Amoonguss, so Urshifu is going to get a free chance to move here, unless, of course, has Thunderclap. No, there is no Thunderclap. U-turn goes into the Rillaboom, winning super effective damage. It's going to give Junxi a pivot option, and I believe this Raging Bolt could Calm Mind, knowing the fact that it did not protect, it did not go for Thunderclap.
It's got to be. It's got to be. It's
Dragon Pulse is nowhere near knocking out anything at this moment.
No, it's got to be a Calm Mind. I think Incineroar is pretty good here.
Yeah, but also I almost did not expect, because Rillaboom going to fake out on the Amoonguss does come from a Thunderclap option, which I think, looking back, I mean, it wasn't completely safe, I'll be real, because if Urshifu was swapped out, hard switched out, it wouldn't get any chance to do anything. Landers comes in here for the Urshifu, and Calm Mind goes up.
I like that. Because you force the Terra, and... But I actually think right now, what I would do if I was Junxi, probably, like I said, bring in Incineroar in favor of the Amoonguss slot, and just go ahead and Sludge Bomb out onto the Rillaboom. I think Raging Bolt's going to protect. There's no way that... I don't... It could attack, but I feel like if anything, it's going to Calm Mind or protect. And so...
There's also the option of reading that protect going for Sludge Bomb onto the Rillaboom, because we know how much damage it did.
That's what I think the safe play is, actually. I think that's the play that I would suspect.
Because what's stopping Junxi from going Sludge Bomb Spore?
Yeah, that's what I think. But the thing is, that's why, honestly, you could switch the Raging Bolt out into Incineroar, fake out, and then reset your Calm Mind, and then you survive
Grassy Glide into Landorus does minimal damage. And okay, Landorus gets a substitute up, so we'll get a chance to get some protection barriers onto its disposal. Another Combine goes up on Raging Bolt, but it doesn't get spored for its trouble.
Like I said, it's kind of setting up like it's a Dondozo, getting its +2 in special attack and special defense, but it is susceptible to those physical attacks.
Or does come out.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's really, really, really good for Junxi. And at this point, you can go ahead and Pollen Puff out on Rillaboom, or switch into actually Earth Power out on the Raging Bolt, or I don't even know. There's so many options. Just let your Landorus attack the Raging Bolt this turn for sure. The question is, do you call the Terra and go for a Sludge Bomb, or do you go for the Earth Power, knowing it's
Earth Power, I believe, is safer.
I think it is safer, but you never know. Mind games are high.
Oh, we see a Terra come out from Junxi. And I believe this is Landorus' poison.
I actually like this a lot because you know, last match we saw water for Urshifu. This time, you know 3 of the Pokemon, and you know that you are going to resist grass, and you now can hit super effective against Fairy. Good call on Junxi's side. That's why.
Grassy Glide into the Landorus will not be raised to the poison typing now, even with a critical hit, but doesn't break the substitute at all. The answer is no. Landorus has out this Earth Power at +2 special defense and doesn't even do half damage.
That's still so rough, but it's helping.
And there's the first turn of sleep for Raging Bolt. Do we see Pollen Puff side? Yeah, we do. So Landorus might get back up to full HP.
Oh my gosh. Pollen Puff going through substitute is nuts. That's something that I have not seen on stream yet. And at this point, it is really nice for Junxi. At this point, I think there is not much that you can do. You gotta hope that this Raging Bolt wakes up this turn, otherwise it's going down on the next one.
Well, I mean, there's a play you can cover for that, because if you think Raging Bolt's gonna wake up, you can just go Rage Powder on the Amoonguss and then make sure your Landorus stays safe inside.
I just think that's a safe play regardless. Like, there's not much you'd want to do other than that. I mean, you don't want to switch in. You want to attack the Raging Bolt. And Rillaboom can't do anything. The worst case scenario is Incineroar coming in, but then you can't get faked out because you're behind substitute. So I think the play is to Rage Powder and go for a Earth Power onto Keanu's Raging Bolt.
All right. I mean, that does make the most logical sense out of Junxi, because once again, you're covering for the Raging Bolt waking up on this very turn. When if you do that, we see Rillaboom switch out, and if you do that, you can make sure your Landorus stays safe inside the substitute. And Incineroar is going to come in here. This does cover Sludge Bomb, but I don't think that was coming out.
I don't think Sludge Bomb is the right call. I think you got an Earth Power. It's still going to do...
Oh, double switch for this Raging Bolt. So we're going to see something else come into that slot. It's going to be the Urshifu Rapid Strike coming in.
It's Terra Steel, so it cannot...
Earth Power comes out into this Urshifu. Doesn't take a chance at living this hit. Yes, it does. Not the most comfortably, but it does take it pretty well. Spore comes out and into the safety goggle slot.
Okay, you know what? That's not bad. You fake out... It's an obvious play right now. Obvious play. You fake out the Amoonguss, and you have to Surging Strikes into Landorus. I don't think it's going to do, like... It's not going to do very well, but it's at least...
You Terra.
No, you can't Terra because you're susceptible to an Earth Power, so you gotta just go for Surging Strikes into it.
Oh yeah, you can still Rage Powder, yeah. I mean, you fake out the Rage Powder.
That's the play. You gotta sacrifice Urshifu here. There's just to break this up.
Okay, Terra Ghost comes out. Keanu locks that in. I'm pretty sure that's... I mean, that does 2 things. It makes you resist Sludge Bomb, it makes you neutral to Earth Power. But it's just like, is that the play for the long term?
You gotta fake out the Amoonguss, and then... If Incineroar goes down, you gotta... I would be... Oh, okay. I did not expect that. I know Parking Shot goes through the substitute, but still.
All right, we're seeing the Terra Ghost come out, so Keanu's really thinking Junxi's going to attack the Incineroar here.
I wouldn't, but it's a decent Terra.
No, it's not awful by any means, because again, like it's not like it's the worst thing in the world that could be happening. We see the Surging Strikes come out. No Rage Powder actually from Junxi's Amoonguss, so definitely mind games coming out here as we see this substitute fade, but doesn't get the two-shot with 2 hits. Oh wait, no, it's Terra Poison. Never mind, it's not gonna get it.
It's a Pollen Puff into the Landorus slot, isn't it?
If that's the case, then Landorus was taking no damage, but the only thing it would have taken by that point is a offensive drop. And yes, it is their power to land the Incineroar.
Color me surprised.
Got that call correctly. Parting shot into this Incineroar. We're lower the special attack stage by 1. But what switches in here? Because I don't know which is safer between Rillaboom and Raging Bolt.
Neither. Honestly, I would switch into the Rillaboom and then bait the...
Wait, hold on. How many turns of Grassy Terrain there are?
I don't remember.
Pretty sure this is either 2 or 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Mungus, Spores, Urshifu.
Good call. Very good call.
So Keanu got the recorrect. It's just like nothing is really going to stop the Amoonguss from doing whatever it wanted.
I think Junxi's in a great spot with that Terra Poison Landorus. It just is, it's bulky. Bulky Landorus is something a lot of people don't prep for. And here's the thing that I kind
Grassy
of...
Drain's gone.
Okay. Here's the thing that I really think a lot of people don't realize with Landorus and any Terra Poison, or anything with two weaknesses. Like, the Terra Poison, you need to have a ground type or a psychic type. Those are not very common types right now. And that is why it's such a good Terra on Landorus. Partner it with Bulk, it's going to get some hits off. And I think that's something that Keanu a bit underestimated when picking his 4 Pokemon.
I mean, that does make a little bit more sense coming out here. We see Rillaboom coming in for Keanu for that resting Urshifu. Grassy Drain is going to reset to make sure. So, like, I'm pretty sure your win condition now is the Raging Bolt, but it's pretty hard to make it work. And there's a second turn of sleep from those Raging Bolts.
That's brutal. It's not terrible, but...
Sub to 2 again from this Landorus. Do we see Palu buff?
I really hope so. That would be so
And
smart.
Survey says 4.
That's fair. That's fine.
And Raging Bolt's still already asleep, catching a 1-turn wake-up, which isn't the worst thing to happen, because catching the opponent waking up definitely feels satisfying to land.
Yeah. That being said, it was the safer play. And the substitute is really, really brutal because you have to wake up this turn. And then Landorus can pick one of your 2 to knock out. I mean, Raging Bolt, Earth Power, it's gonna go down. I don't think it lives this. I think it's definitely gonna faint here. Or you could pick the Sludge Bomb onto the Rillaboom. So it's now a battle of kind of like pick your poison. Which one do you want to sacrifice? Or you could switch the Raging Bolt out into Urshifu knowing it's asleep already and is kind of a sitting bear. I think right what I would do is probably go for, I don't even know, there's so many different choices, but I think switching into Urshifu here is going to be one of the best ones.
Yeah, Urshifu coming in here for Keanu's slot into that position. Either way, none of these Pokemon are safe. And that's a 3rd turn of sleep for Raging Bolt, unfortunately.
That's what happens when you run a Mungus. You never know how many turns of sleep you're going to get.
Who does their power go to? It went into the Raging Bolt. Will it go down? No, it won't. But that's severe damage.
Yeah. That's actually really solid.
And Spore comes out again, and once again, it couldn't fashion a Raging Bolt waking up, but now we know for sure it'll wake up this turn. Or whenever Raging Bolt makes its next move.
But it's not going to matter because the Earth Power is going to come out. So I think, yeah, you know, this is not a... man, it's so brutal because both of these Pokemon are asleep. It shows you that Landorus and Amoonguss is one of the hardest combos to calculate for, period. It's so dangerous because... redirection happens, and then you're able to heal your Landorus and set up substitute. It's so bulky, and there's the sleep chances, and we're gonna see this exactly right now. Protect's very smart, in my opinion. Allow the fake out to come out on the next turn, and then set up.
Urshifu takes his 1st turn of the sleep here from the Spore. We see Earth Power into the Protect of the Raging Bolt. I would have thought that might have been a riskier option because you had a pretty safe slot to go for Earth Power or Sludge Bomb into that slot, and yeah, we see that happen. So this, okay, I think this thing, okay, this turn hinges down to whether or not Urshifu wakes up this turn, because
yeah.
Wait, no, never mind. There's not enough damage because Surging Strike is not doing so much to either Pokemon. Close Combat's not an option because you're hitting the 2 poison types. Ice Spinner hurts you more than it helps you. Hurts Keanu more than it helps Junxi.
I disagree. I think Ice Spinner is the play onto the Amoonguss, and then go for a Dragon Pulse onto the Landorus, then bring back your Rillaboom. And then at that point, you could reset your Calm Mind and just stall like you do if you're playing Dondozo. But you kind of have to go for... You're really reliant on the Urshifu Wake Up.
Yeah, and there's a Rage Powder coming in here to cover the Urshifu option. So if Urshifu wakes up, Landorus is going to be perfectly safe. No, it takes another turn to sleep. Reaching Bolt at the very least gets the Earth Power off. Pretty sure this is going to knock out whatever it wants to knock out, and there goes Raging Bolt down.
And that's going to, I think, wrap it up here. Raging Bolt, like you said, was the win condition for Keanu. It's brutal against Landorus. And again, this combo, I think one thing that really works with Junxi's side is not only do you have so much bulk with Porygon and Amoonguss, but you have so many offensive options between your Urshifu, your Landorus, and your Golden Go, and those 3 do not share too many common weaknesses. And we saw that here with being able to just use Landorus and Urshifu in the last game to put pressure on the Raging Bolt and then finish it off with an Aqua Jet. And in this case, the Landorus and Amoonguss combo is able to survive so many hits and Spore and keep things asleep where you can heal your Landorus. At this point, if you're Keanu, you're just kind of struggling.
Yeah, and speaking of more struggling, we're seeing the center. I think likely the center was switching. Yeah, the center was switching in here, so to cover both Ice Spinner and Flare Blitz, which I believe Keanu locked in because he's trying to make sure he got this Amungus gone. But I think
you are asleep though, so it didn't actually activate a move if I'm not mistaken. So you may be able to get this.
Another return to sleep for Urshifu.
Earth Power Urshifu, let me guess.
Well, is it? Yeah, it is. Down it goes. Oh, never mind. We underestimated its bulk, so we'll get a turn. No, fake out something. Fake out's an option.
Flare Blitz is not bad. Onto the wrong Mon.
Yeah, no, exactly. Just going for the Amungus here and gets a bit of recoil damage, and Urshifu is susceptible to fake out. I don't know if fake out's going to knock out from that range, but I think even then, Landers is safe to do whatever it wants, and Incineroar has a free fake out onto the Urshifu.
Yep. I think this is about where you can go ahead and switch out your Rillaboom out. That's definitely the play. I think, honestly, Junxi has no reason to not Sludge Bomb that slot, and then you just Parting Shot on the Landorus, but still, yeah, I am expecting to see a Sludge Bomb into that Rillaboom slot. I think we're wrapping this game up in this next couple turns.
All right, let's just see if that's actually the case, because there is a chance that it's just another Earth Power just to be safe, but Earth Power Incineroar is not the worst thing to happen in the world. There's Fake Out into the Rillaboom, there's to be safe, and there's a Sludge Bomb. Gonna go ahead and get that boost for the Terrestrialization. This is Incineroar, it's not doing much of anything, but instead it goes into the Rillaboom. It survives on 10.
Whatever this AV Rillaboom set is taking hits. It is taking hits.
And that's another special attack drop on the Landorus.
Okay, here's what I think. You gotta fake out the Incineroar, and then hope that your Surging Strikes does enough damage. It's a brutal match. It's just this Terra Poison.
I don't see it knocking out the.
No.
I don't see it knocking out the Landorus. It might knock out Incineroar, but I don't think that's what you want.
No, it's really not. And at this point, it's just in a spot it doesn't want to be. And I think what I really like about Junxi's playing here is you focused on the Landorus. You know it's bulky. You know it could take these hits. And the 4 that Keanu picked just can't really touch it. So really, really nice playing, in my opinion, from Junxi. Able to control that match with that Landorus and Amungus combo. Landorus switching out.
I mean,
it's fine. It's
taking 2 parting shots, so it's got to get that reset on this offensive. So Amungus is going to back in.
If this fake, if it is
if it's fake out,
anything,
double switch from Junxi, so we're going to know all of his team members, and Urshifu going to come back in his last Mon. All right, we knew that from the very beginning.
Honestly, at this point, anything is, yeah, if you fake out the Urshifu, it's fine. If this is targeting the Amungus, it's actually going to do that. That's why the switch happened. Very smart on Junxi's side.
2 hits is all going to need, and now it's a 1v4 once again with Junxi and Keanu. This is just his specialty. He'll just find a way to slowly chip down your team, and this is their end result.
Literally. It's just, and at this point right now, I think, let's take a look at this Incineroar's health. It's something relatively healthy.
No, it is not. I believe like around the beginning of green.
Yeah. So Aqua Jet's not.
Yeah.
I think you gotta Surging Strike. I would switch the Amungus out to Incineroar and Surging Strikes. I don't think that a Grassy Glide's gonna be enough to KO you.
I can also see Urshifu switching out to Incineroar here.
Yeah, it's actually probably much safer. But then Amungus can't really do too much. It can actually knock out the Rillaboom.
Yeah, it can knock out the Rillaboom.
Unless this AV set pulls off one more magic trick, because it has been so bulky this entire time that I wouldn't be surprised if it survives a Pollen Puff here.
Yeah, we are going to see the Urshifu switch out. Hopefully,
very solid.
Well, if it's either Incineroar or Landorus, if either or can work, we are going to see Incineroar get the permanent Intimidates onto both these Pokemon and make sure Grassy Glide is not a problem.
And that is kind of the 2 things you were banking on, was that Grassy Glide and then just knocking stuff out with Incineroar. It is definitely going to be a Grassy Glide into the Incineroar. Not going to do a lot. And at this point, I think his Flare Blitz is probably what's coming out here.
Yeah, into the Amungus. So unfortunately, it's not going to knock out because it's not Intimidate, but you're taking a lot more recoil damage than Rocky Helmet.
Yeah, that actually might be close to, I mean, you'll survive.
Who does Pollen Puff go to? It is the Rillaboom. This should be able to knock it out, and it will.
Okay, so that AV set isn't enough to take that much from the Amungus. It was close. You never know. But at this point, it is practically game over. Junxi's going to be able to pick this one up. Incineroar does have knockoff, and at this point, it can't really hit you, so yeah, there's the forfeit. And Junxi, once again, out of the 5 tournaments, this is his 4th top 2. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Junxi proving to be one of the best players in SoCal. Maybe he might be challenging Riley and Gio for that title, because he's been dominant ever since like around the midpoint of Regulation F, and it's clearly showing with the team that he's been running.
This is an absolute bonkers team, but what I really like about it, like I said, is it is such a wonderful mix of bulk and offense. Porygon could be both. You have Amoonguss being very defensive, Incineroar defensive, but Golden Go, Landorus Incarnate, and Urshifu Rapid Strike is such a crazy combo that you can switch into each other's weaknesses, and Junxi has learned to play around it, and that is why he is going into the finals again. And we're going to see him face either, I believe, Sean. Oh, it's going to be Sean Pinto versus Junxi Zhu coming up in the finals.